Welcome back to TuckerAllen Live. I'm Scott Trout, moderator on Fridays, 1 o'clock Central. And here we are joined by the TuckerAllen attorney, Kevin, up in Kansas City. Welcome.
Hi, Scott. Thank you.
Hey, so let's talk about something, we often do talk about things that like COVID, what's it really done for us? Taking a negative, turn into a positive. And this is one of those where you can talk about incapacity and the things that none of us really want to talk about, and we're uneasy. But really, I guess the question is why talk about incapacity? Why is it important to really think about it? And as we come out of COVID, and we got the Delta variant, and it's going to continue. So why is incapacity important?
So I think, talking about incapacity and planning for that is equally as important to any estate plan, because these are the documents that are governing what's going to be going on while you're still alive. So while you're still alive, these are going to be the documents that are going to state who your agents are. We'll get more into that later, but they're going to state who the people are that are going to be, helping you out with things, or the ones that will be in control of finances or healthcare decisions. And then as well as it allows you the opportunity to say, hey, these are what my wishes are. Should I become incapacitated? Should I be in the hospital for something? This is what I would like done. So super important documents, because again, they're in effect while you're living.
Yeah, and it happens so quickly at times. I mean, take COVID out of it. Anything can happen in a flash, and then it's too late. Maybe just depends on what's happening. And this is good timing to talk about incapacity or talk about the documents, as you mentioned. Particularly, we're running a POA campaign right now, but let's talk about what those documents are. The simple documents that everyone needs if you're talking about incapacity and just protecting yourself. You don't have to go all the way. We've talked about stages and, the will or a trust and the complete package, or elder planning, long-term care planning. But this is really almost an easy step to take forward and talk about those documents, what those are.
Sure. So yeah, these are documents, they aren't like a will or a trust or anything like that. These are documents that everyone should have. You say, oh, well, I don't have, I am young. I don't have anything that I right now to, be inheriting to anyone. But that doesn't matter, because that's not what we're talking about here. These are documents that literally everyone needs. And I know last night I was talking with one of my friends, and she's a doctor, and she was telling me what the average age of their patients are right now with the new Delta variant. It's 34 years old. So that made me a little bit more nervous, because that's kind of right in the wheelhouse of how old I am. But, so these are documents that, like you said, everyone needs to have them. So there are three documents. One is the living will. Then the next one is a healthcare power of attorney. And that final one is your durable power of attorney.
So it's so true. And when you think about it, we always have tried for months and months here to break this down. This isn't an older person's area of the law. I mean, it's anyone. And I think you start seeing, young couples with kids, or just young singles, or they have a partner or whatever it is. It's so important to look, if you do anything and you're not convinced to do a will or a trust, at least do these things. So let's break down what everyone is, one of those, and why we should do them, what they will do, what they will accomplish. So let's start with the living will. What is that and what does it do?
So the living will, a lot of times people will call it a healthcare directive. If you've ever heard that term, we're talking about the same document right now. What it does is it describes what sort of medical treatment you would like to have, or you would like to have withheld should you become incapacitated, or if you're terminally ill. So just speaking from experience here, we do a lot of living wills. Kind of what the one that I far and away the most often or common one that I'm going to draft is, it's going to say something to the effect of, should I become terminally ill or am incapacitated with, no hope of ever achieving, any sort of quality of life is kind of what it's saying. And it's saying these are my wishes at that point. So, like if there's no brain activity and you're in a coma or something. So it's not talking about, because I know sometimes I've had clients here recently with COVID, they get nervous and they're like, oh, well, one of these is talking about being on a ventilator, right? And it's saying I would like to be removed from that. And, something to think about those, like COVID is that's not a terminal illness. So lots of people recover. So, people get freaked out and it's like, hey, we're not going to take you off the ventilator because you have COVID. Right. But, this is used in situations where, like I said, you're terminally ill, or you're incapacitated, you're in a coma, and there's no brain activity. So it's saying, these are my wishes. I would like to still receive fluids, but no food, or I would like to be able to go home if I have a terminal illness, late stage cancer or something. So that's kind of what this document outlines. And it's your wishes. It's a document that's in the first person that's saying, I want this.
Yeah. Relieve your friends and family from the that burden. Trying to guess as to what you want. I've watched it unfold, and the siblings saying, one side or the other. Well, what would she have wanted? And it's so difficult to see them struggle with that.
Yes, absolutely. This totally. I mean, if you see one of our living wills, it's got a whole bunch of different scenarios where you initial if that's something you would like to have or wouldn't like to have. So it really does a good job of kind of fleshing out what this person would like to have. So like you said, relieves all the burden. Great document. The next one there, that healthcare power of attorney. What it does is it's naming an agent, it's naming a third party for you to make medical decisions for you should you, not be able to make them for yourself. So this isn't always used in end of life scenarios. So, within the past year, I've had to use my healthcare power of attorney. So I hurt myself playing basketball, which apparently you reach a certain age and you can't keep playing pickup basketball anymore. Yeah. And you get on, the doctors give you a couple painkillers and you can't make decisions all of a sudden. So my sister had to step in and, make a couple decisions for me. But it's a great document because it allows her to come in and just take care of it. It was a very easy thing. All that she had to say was like, yeah, he wants to go home and sleep it off.
And it's relevant. And as I mentioned earlier, this POA campaign that TuckerAllen is running for college kids, because it's relevant for 18-year-old and up who go away perhaps, and now they may be across the country. And as a parent, single or married, whatever, it becomes more difficult. And it's a document that is so critical to have so that you can have the authority to make decisions, and that lines up with the durable power of attorney. Kind of it's the whole package. So maybe talk about that and then how it relates to the college age kids.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, lots of college age kids are going to go out there, and guess what? There's a whole bunch of guys that are going to be playing pickup basketball, just like I was, in the gyms at their school. So it's a great thing to have because it allows, once your child turns 18, you don't have control over their healthcare anymore. It's up to them now. They're going to be the ones making the decisions, and the doctors actually, at times they can't even release the information to you unless you're a healthcare power of attorney or listed on a HIPAA waiver. So, that's you want to have those just as a parent so you can have those conversations with the doctors and say, oh, yes, this is what Kevin would want, or, he doesn't need that, or whatever it is, or maybe your child has an allergy, that the medical staff wouldn't know about. I know that there's people that are allergic to penicillin or whatever it may be. So it's good to have that just so you can communicate with those medical care providers and say, hey, this is something that I know about my kid that you wouldn't be able to find out. And just alert them to that. And like I said, then also you can make decisions.
And I think it's easy to think about or fall into the trap. I mean, I've got another one going to college in 2 weeks. That you still think of them as your baby, that you're taking care of them, that they aren't the adults. But boy, when they hit that 18 and you can't have access to their school records, you don't have access to their medical records, you don't have access to their financial records, you can't do anything because they are legally an adult. And this is why it's so easy, if you're listening or watching, and if you've got a college age kid who's already there, and maybe it's their second, third, or fourth year, you got to get it done. This package, and it's cheap, it's fast, and it's effective, and it protects you. Just like yourself, you should do this. But if anything, start with your college age kids as well. And I think that's so equally important. And in dealing, like I said, we've talked about this, just going to the bank. You can't do transactions at a bank, no matter how good your relationship is. Times are different.
Yes, absolutely. So that's where that durable power of attorney steps in right there. It's like where the one is a healthcare power of attorney, and it's very obvious what it's for. It's for healthcare. The durable power of attorney, maybe not as obvious. It's just what's durable mean. What this one does is it's granting that third party, that agent, the ability to, advocate, work on your behalf in financial matters. So they can deposit checks for you at the bank. Your Social Security check comes in, or you have some stock and a dividend check shows up. You got to be able to deposit those, or you're getting paid time off from work, you got to be able to
Mhm.
deposit your check still. So they can do that
Yeah.
for you. They can pull money out of the bank for you and pay bills, which is equally as important. And then they can go to your financial advisor for you and say, hey, the situation's now changed with
Yeah.
whoever. We don't need to have all these aggressive investments anymore because we may start needing some of this money here pretty soon. We need to start shifting our investment strategy, so they can have that conversation as well with the
Yeah.
financial advisor. So this document, this durable power of attorney, is an incredibly important document. So I know Jim and I kind of harp on it, but it's probably just as important as any will or trust or anything else out there, because what it does is it also mitigates in the future the need to ever have a guardian or conservatorship. So
Yeah.
now you don't have to have an attorney like Jim or I showing up at the courthouse and, advocating on behalf of a spouse or not a spouse, or on a child or whoever it is, and trying to get guardianship over an adult parent. So it's very important because it's much less expensive to get this durable power of attorney. It costs way less than it does to go get a guardian and conservatorship.
Right. I mean, it's so easy to do. I mean, I was just thinking, I always try to think of examples, and, stupid or not, the point is if you're going to send your kid out to play in the snow and, none of them want to wear a hat. Well, okay, at least put a jacket and gloves on. I'd love for you to have the whole package, the will, the trust, the hat, but at least put the glove and the jacket on. And at least it's a good start to protect yourself.
Yes.
And anything, sunscreen, a hat, whatever it is. That's the point, is that the step to do the living will, the healthcare, and the durable, it's so affordable, so easy, so fast, and so effective. And then you can think about down the road if you want to do the will and the trust, which is certainly, we've talked about that and how important it is, and what happens in probate if you don't, if you just do a will and not a trust and all that stuff. But so anyway, thanks, Kevin, for joining. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
So check out, you're going to get more information about how to secure, whether it's for yourself, for your kids, or both. And you can go to TuckerAllen.com. You can schedule a consult with Kevin or any of the attorneys at TuckerAllen, whether it's in Kansas City or the St. Louis area, by going right to their website. And you can schedule a consult right on the website. You don't even need to pick up the phone. And you can do that. You can find out more information about the powers of attorney, the living will, everything we just talked about. And if you want to take that next step and just also, while you're doing it, have a conversation about whether or not a trust or a will is appropriate for you, do that. But if anything, take the first step. So until next Friday, same time, same place, 1:00 Central, right here on Facebook. We're going to do Facebook Live. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend.